jinx. Arizona quarterback Khalil Tate says he will beat the Sports Illustrated cover curse. And are you ready for some male cheerleaders in the NFL? And how the border just became more militarized right underneath our noses. These stories and more next on the 520. Well, welcome to the 520. I'm Steve Nunez.
I'm Marty Mata IV. Thanks for joining us.
Man, you are Rico Suave today. In fact, I'm going to call you Fabuloso.
It's the Steve combo.
Look at that. Oh, no.
With the
I look good. I look good. Look, before we get started, though, on a serious note, how about a major shout out to our 520 producer, Shannon Thorpe, and our 520 executive producer, Jeff Clemens, for being nominated for an Emmy for producing a heck of a sports promo. Congratulations to the both of you. Well deserved. Hopefully, you'll bring home that trophy, right?
Go for the gold.
Well, we at the 520 have called out the U of A for silencing Khalil Tate after he went on Twitter and denounced the hiring of Navy's coach in place of Kevin Sumlin. Here's what we got going on now. Broken silence. For the first time since fall practice, U of A finally lifted Heisman candidate Khalil Tate's ban on speaking to the media. The Arizona Wildcats quarterback didn't shy away from the spotlight. Tate talked about his relationship with Kevin Sumlin, his role as a team's leader, and why making the Sports Illustrated cover is not a jinx.
I mean, it means a lot. I mean, growing up, that's something that, a lot of the younger athletes, want to do a lot. They want to be on. Want to get that exposure. I think it also helps the university. Really just showing that we're a great university also.
Well, there you heard Khalil Tate. What's your take on this?
My take on this is I understand that before they were trying to protect Khalil, they're trying to protect the university's brand, but I can only see this backfiring. This is one of our first encounters with the media, and they want to ask Khalil, hey Khalil, what's your favorite EG's flavor? That's only going to backfire on the university and on Khalil. If this kid ends up delivering and he's one of the top 3 players in the country, what's going to happen when a guy like Jim Rome gets a hold of him? What's going to happen when Skip Bayless tears him to pieces? He's not going to be ready for it. Allow him to warm up with the local media. Allow him to warm up and let the local media ask him hard questions, the questions that we want answered.
Look, in his defense, I have to at least say and consider the following 2 things. He's 19 years old. He's a junior. He's projected to graduate at 20 years old. You have to give the kid some credit and some excuses for why they're not placing him in front of the media. But I will say this. I blame Arizona and the marketing department for failing to prep him in the fall when they knew damn well that he was going to be a Heisman candidate, and have him media savvy, media ready, and prep him with a bunch of questions, tough questions, that he's sure to face, that they're going to ask anyway. So in that regard, I blame the U of A, again, because they should have had Khalil Tate ready to face the media. What better marketing tool than to put Khalil Tate on TV constantly? Again, we got the U of A schedule and an agenda for who they're going to put out in the media this coming week for practice. Khalil Tate is not on that list again.
There we are
again.
Put
the kid out there. Put him on bus benches. Put him on buses. Put him on the light rail.
Put him on
Put him on billboards. Put him everywhere. Look, if the U of A wants to start recruiting 5-star football players and compete with the Washingtons, the UCLAs, the USCs, they better start promoting their players, especially the first ever Heisman candidate player in U of A history.
I will end on this quick note. While there is national recognition that goes to Khalil Tate, he's already having to dig himself out of a hole. He's just this kid from Tucson, Arizona. People want to see the Florida States, the Miamis, the Bamas, the Stanfords. Those are who they want to succeed. This kid has to be ready to already come out from the bottom.
All right, quickly, we're out of time, but let me get this in really quick. The over-under in Vegas has Khalil Tate reaching high numbers for odds makers that they placed on him to win the Heisman. Total passing yards, 2,550.5 total passing yards, 20.5 TDs, Rushing yards, 1,400 and a half, and total rushing TDs, 13 and a half. It's almost like what he did last year already in 8 games. Can you imagine what he's going to do in 12 games this year?
And if the Wildcats are running about 60 plays a game, that means that Tate's going to have to be a part of 80% of those plays. I hope they calloused him up this offseason.
Look, he had nearly 1,600 yards last year in passing, over 1,400 yards rushing. He's going to beat the over-under. I'm betting on that one.
We'll take it. More back to professional football, the NFL's other controversy. The new helmet-to-helmet rule is already putting the game in jeopardy of losing some more fans. Arizona Cardinals safety Travell Dixon executes a picture-perfect tackle against Los Angeles Chargers wide receiver Jeremy Davis. Dixon keeps his head up, leads with his shoulder, nothing illegal about that, yet the referee throws a flag for an illegal hit.
Look, I understand this, and I get what the NFL is trying to do. Concussions rose from 243 in 2016 to 281 in 2017, a 15% increase, all right? But, wow, trigger-happy refs in the first week of preseason, 26 flags thrown, most of them for illegal hits. It's absolutely ridiculous. It reminds me of baseball. The game is just slowing down. It's too damn slow. They just need to figure this out and be able to correct this rule so that they can protect the players, but at the same time, quit softening the game. It's football. We all know it's dangerous. We all know that there's bigger, faster, stronger athletes. We know that the collisions are dangerous, but it is what it is. And it's entertainment, and we keep tuning in. So leave the game alone.
I will say this to conclude. Back when pass interference was introduced to the NFL, I remember looking at some footage and there's coaches and players absolutely losing their minds. And partially it was because they didn't understand the rule completely. There's been conversations of what the rule is. There hasn't been conversations about what the rule isn't. That we know what a dirty hit is. Well, what does a clean hit look like? And we have to make it concrete, label it out so that referees understand it 100%, players and coaches understand it 100%. It's a young rule.
The problem, Artie, is that the game is so fast, it's hard to make a correct call on something like this. So they need to have replay on this if they really want to get it right. If not, leave it alone. Leave the game alone.
It's just like PI.
The pace, baby. Let's
PI's
go.
100%
It's football,
now.
man.
Up
Football. All right. Here's a topic no machismo football fan wants to talk about, but the 520 will. Male cheerleaders in the NFL. We're not talking about stunners. We're talking about male cheerleaders as part of the main dance routines. Napoleon Jennings and Quentin Perrin will join the Ram squad, while Jesse Hernandez will become a member of the Saints. Window dressing to fight off sexual harassment lawsuits?
I don't think that's one way to take it. I think the other way to take it is
It's a great way to take it.
maybe it's a leap to integrate the workplace. There's female coaches now on the staffs with the Cardinals and on the Raiders. Maybe this is another attempt for the NFL. And if it doesn't send a message for integration, I hope that these men can at least improve the working conditions for their female coworkers. I know that being an NFL cheerleader is completely harsh on the body, mentally, physically, and I hope that working conditions
and there's no pay.
are improved.
Literally,
and I hope that
there's
these guys
no
can be there for them.
Pay. Look, whether we like it or not, it is the way of the world. It is the way things are today. But let's consider the fastest growing demographic over the last maybe 10 years, as far as fans are concerned, tuning in to NFL and going to the games. Guess, women. So
Take it.
what I say is what's good for the goose is good for the gander. If the guys can sit there and check out the cheerleaders, female cheerleaders, women should have the same opportunity to check out the male cheerleaders.
Sure.
But let's not kid ourselves. Seriously, on a serious note, let's not kid ourselves. The NFL is doing this because they are covering their own arse because of all the sexual harassment lawsuits filed by female cheerleaders. They want to be able to say, hey, look, we have male cheerleaders too, and cover themselves. All right, well, it's time for Rapid Fire. I fire off a topic with a local sports connection. Artie fires back a rapid response. Artie does not know what I'm going to throw at him. It's all ad-libbing straight up, baby. You ready for this?
Bam, bam,
all right.
bam.
Arizona has reinstated defensive back Scotty Young Jr., but announced He'll be suspended for the Wildcat season opener against BYU should Arizona wait until the outcome of his November 2nd court date for domestic violence is determined.
Yes, and I am a big advocate for everything being taken case by case, but if this were any other player, this would be the procedure for it. He has to follow through with it. The mistakes equal the time.
I think they need to wait. All right, since being fired in January, U of A football coach Rich Rodriguez made his first media appearance on the Rock and Manuch radio show, aired on Phoenix radio station 1580 The Fanatic. He did not talk about his sexual harassment allegations. Surprise?
Always surprised. He was spending so much dang money on that lawyer. He better have him by the throat. I swear.
I like that one. All right, Arizona Cardinals rookie QB Josh Chosen Rosen flashed signs of promise in his preseason debut, but should the spotlight be on rookie wide receiver Christian Kirk, who could win the Birds' #2 starting job at wide receiver?
I love Christian Kirk. He's a volume pass catcher. He's not going to make these glorious, glamorous catches, but he'll get 4 or 5 good ones over the middle. That's exactly what the Cardinals need.
And he's a heck of a kickoff returner, right?
Oh,
and punt returner.
And he's Phoenix native. So let's give a shout out to him there.
Yeah, nice. 5-star point guard Nico Mannion out of Phoenix has narrowed his list of schools to 4, including Arizona, Villanova, Duke, and Marquette. ASU, the so-called self-proclaimed point guard U, is nowhere on his radar. Smart guy.
I think it's a smart guy. I think ASU also doesn't take into the fact that if they want to start competing nationally, they have to keep up with the Joneses. Take them out, show them the facilities, show them the cheerleaders, have a good time with the kid.
Call it like it is. ASU. All right. 66 Arizona basketball players have been selected in the NBA draft since 1948. The Wildcats have had 23 first-round picks, including 5 players under Sean Miller.
What have they done in the NBA is always my question. They always seem to be not ready. They always seem to be underdeveloped, and these NBA coaches don't nearly have the time and work schedule to spend the time developing them.
Last one, really quick. Arizona Stadium, besides booze, is bringing back one of Tucson's original frozen drinks this football season, EG.
And they're also going to start serving brush fire barbecue at the stadium. They're starting to bring a much more local focused sense to the vendors.
EG of the month?
I like lemon.
Oh, all right. I love July for watermelon. Love that. Man, can't stop eating it. All right. That does it for the 520 Rapid Fire segment. Now, let's sprinkle in a little bit of politics. Take it away, man.
Fake inspections, or do you really trust the state to expose violations found inside the facilities that house the migrant children? Governor Doug Ducey ordered inspections for all 13 Southwest Key facilities in Arizona, but only after police arrested 2 child care workers on child sex charges. One worker who was HIV positive is accused of molesting 8 teenage boys. The second worker got busted for kissing and fondling a 14-year-old girl.
I do not trust the state to release a credible report on the findings and the violations they find within the 13 facilities at Southwest Key. Don't trust the state at all. They only did so after the reports of 2 employees getting arrested on child sex charges. And Dr. Chris, head of the Arizona Health Services Director, when asked if she would leave her 3 kids alone at the Southwest Key facility, she balked like a pitcher and then came back and said, you know what? I can't imagine my children experiencing that. Yet, nothing has been done. No report has been released. You talk about it. These facilities have been cited for violations, and now we're looking at child sex charges. And these facilities take in $458 million a year, from 79 to $500 million nearly.
I agree with you, Steve, and my take on this entire thing is, what violations are we looking for? It came from the horse's mouth. What's going to be done about that?
I agree. More oversight needs to be done, though. We need to be vigilant about this and stay on top of this topic. Those kids deserve us fighting for their rights. All right, let's jump right into Do We Care? As we just mentioned, we love to tackle community issues and not just sports, and ask ourselves, do we care? Well, despite teacher pay raises, teacher vacancies remain a problem at some schools. TUSD, like many districts, offer incentives for teachers specializing in science, technology, engineering, and math or STEM classes, and bonuses for working at magnet schools. Of course we care.
Of course we care, but my question to TUSD is, you haven't made it easy for teachers to be successful in the classroom, in the workplace. How do you plan on changing that? That should be your incentive. Instead of a pay raise, offer a path to success, offer room for growth as an employee.
Well, the Red for Ed movement already garnered a pay raise by 2020, 20% pay raise. So the bottom line is this: STEM teachers do get a sign-on bonus of up to $7,500. The problem is that there aren't enough STEM qualified teachers to teach. Why? Because the state deregulated the industry so that anyone can get a teaching certificate. State of Arizona, baby. That's why we're in the world of hurt that we are in when it comes to education.
Same thing with the cop shortage problem as well. On to the next one. Besides teacher shortages, Arizona has another crisis brewing with a shortage of affordable child care centers. In the last 2 years, 788 providers of subsidized child care centers have shut down, in part due to the slow reimbursement from the state.
This just goes hand in hand with teacher pay and with all these cuts to healthcare and other social programs that are needed. Bottom line, the state continues to put more money into private prisons and less money into education and less money into child care services. And guess what? Our wages suck in this state. Who can afford child care?
And at this point, the state is forcing parents into a corner, underprivileged parents into a corner, and sort of painting the picture that child care is now a luxury. If you want your children to be taken care of while you're out making work, affording a household, that's a luxury for you. I think that's absolute buffoonery. That's absolutely uncalled for.
All right, Arizona National Guard troops are now being used to help U.S. Customs and Border Protection officers inspect vehicles at the border, including the Nogales ports of entry. The Guard could not provide stats, but claim troops have seized drugs. Do we care?
Yes, we care. That we're militarizing the border. It's all a facade. It's all such a shell, such a hollow shell. This is all just for a campaign.
You know, every chance that the federal government or the state gets to militarize the border, they're going to do it. And having these troops in the front lines doing what U.S. Customs officers are supposed to do is, in my opinion, wrong. We're not at war with Mexico. We shouldn't have the border that militarized. But on the same token, I understand our need to protect our borders. But I think this is just an excuse by the federal government not to hire more customs officers. How can you not hire customs officers to fill all those vacancies when they get paid pretty damn good? You know, so this is all strategy. It's all politics. It's all BS. That's what it is.
I agree. I agree.
Right. Well, you've heard the phrase, oh, no, you didn't. Well, here at the 520, we're not afraid to tell it like it is with, oh, yes, we did. Well, this week, I'm coming to the defense of Arizona Republican Senator John McCain. Since complicit Republicans who close their ears and turn a blind eye on him won't, I will. Here's why I'm pissed. President Donald Trump signed a $716 billion defense policy bill named for John McCain, but in his remarks did not mention the Republican senator who is battling brain cancer at home here in Arizona. The bill, formally named the John S. McCain National Defense Authorization Act, will introduce thousands of new recruits to active duty, reserve and National Guard units, and replace aging tanks, planes, ships, helicopters with more advanced and lethal technology. McCain is the chairman of the Senate Committee on Armed Services. I find the president's behavior purely political, but it crosses the line. Equally pathetic are the Republicans, who should have immediately corrected the record and call out the president for dissing a true American hero. I've interviewed John McCain numerous times, including when he was running for president. He can be tough, shrewd at times, even condescending to reporters when he doesn't like the question that's asked. But he's a good person who truly cares about his fellow Americans. He's more than just a Maverick. He's an American first before he's a Republican. And let me remind you, John McCain was tortured and was held captive as a prisoner of war for 5 years because he did not want to leave his fellow soldiers behind. Yet, back in 2015, Trump said McCain was not a war hero because he was captured. In case you suffer from amnesia, let me also remind you, Trump avoided serving Vietnam not once, not twice, but 5 times because his feet hurt. Again, count them, 5 deferments. Still, Republicans tightened their lips, stayed silent when McCain was getting dissed. Senator John McCain deserves credit for being a true war hero, and if the president chooses not to respect McCain, that doesn't mean we shouldn't stand united in showing respect. Those who don't are not patriots. They're in fact unpatriotic.
Absolutely terrible. John McCain does deserve his recognition.
Absolutely.
I agree. And that's my cue. Back to sports. While we continue to criticize a very specific football player for mishandling media confrontation, I wanted to take this moment to talk about J.J. Taylor. A few days ago, a journalist asked the Doak Walker candidate, "How does your size affect your pass blocking?" I saw the look on his face instantly that said, "Let me answer this for the 1,000th time again." Now, JJ is 5 foot 6 inches, 185 pounds soaking wet. He's probably gotten this question since before he graduated high school. He answers first as a football player, quote, "Oh, well, you know, it's just angles. I position myself accordingly to the O-line, yada, yada." And then Taylor positions himself. He says, "'Cause I know football." And that's the perfect answer. In other words, because if I couldn't do that, I wouldn't be seeing any playing time. Give me a better question. Where's that energy when any other Wildcat player addresses the media? Too often, the unaware and ignorant kids aren't taught to just give such a definitive answer that forces the journalist to refrain from instigating. Wildcat football, stop wasting your time with searching for answers in Khalil Tate. Taylor is your seasoned leader. He will be your backbone this season. He's the total package. I promise you this season, his 20 carry games will be Tate's 300-yard passing games. Count on it.
I give J.J. Taylor credit for being a good leader, but back to Khalil Tate. Come on, man. You have to give him credit for being an awesome leader, too. He's learning. Again, he's only 19 years old, and he's leading a football team and putting them on his back to the promised land, baby.
I will take this all the way back to a time when Cam Newton was addressing the media poorly, and they talked about Cam Newton. They said, well, he's a young kid, blah, blah, blah. And we said, well, Cam, if you want to be a Super Bowl winning quarterback, you have to answer the media to a certain standard. I pull the same standard to Khalil Tate.
Okay. Fair enough. I agree. Well, before we go, take a look at the clip of the week. Check out Pops playing a game of one-on-one against his son. Backs him down low. Whoopsie-doo. Fake hook over the shoulder, off the backboard. Count it, baby. Young man, you just got played.
Send that a message. The old man's strength does not go away.
Trust me.
It's a beast itself.
Trust me, if I were playing you one-on-one, I would do that move over and over in a game of 21
Let's get that
and score
going.
all of them.
Let's get that one going.
Yeah. Well, that does it for this episode of the 520. Our goal is to tell it like it is because it's all about giving voice to opinions, even if you don't agree.
Be sure to follow the 520 on Facebook and on Twitter at the 520 Tucson.
And if you have a topic you want us to cover, send us an email at the520@KVOA.com. I'm Steve Nunez.
I'm Marty Mata IV. Join us next week on the 520.
Go Cats.